Hello good people, welcome back to Keep Left. The car on review today is none other than the Toyota Hiace, not Hiace, Hiace. This is a 2015 model and basically it's the 5th generation of the Toyota Hiace. This one ran from 2004 up to 2019. So here's the thing. If you consider the history of vans, one of the most common vans was the Nissan Urvan. They were very robust, they were fuel efficient, and they never seemed to die. In fact, up to this day, Nissan Urvans are able to command a very good price in terms of their resale. Fast forward 20 years later, the Toyota Hiaces have taken the industry by storm. These cars happen to be everywhere, and it's not by any chance. These cars are able to cater for all in terms of transport and probably even in the matatu industry. And this video will be able to cater to understand why this car, the Toyota Hiace, has been one of the most used cars in our roads today. Because of the flat bonnet, it goes without guessing that the engine is located under the co-driver seat, and this is where it is, and this provides very many utilities which we'll talk about later. But in terms of engines, the Toyota Hiace with years spanning from 2004 up to 2019 has been able to command 7 different engines with 2 petrol variants and 2 diesel variants. So as far as petrol variants go, they have a 2-liter 1TR FE engine, and then a further 2.7-liter petrol engine, a 2TR FE engine. The 2TR petrol engine happens to be a familiar engine because it is the same engine that is put in the Toyota Prados. And furthermore, if you haven't watched my video on the Lexus RX 270, the same car has the engine proposition of the 2TR FE engine, which is a 2.7-liter petrol engine. As far as the diesel engine goes, they have 5 diesel propositions. Now, the first diesel proposition happens to be the 2.5-liter diesel engine. This is the 1KD engine. It's this engine also finds its place in most Hiluxes, and it works well in Hiluxes too. The other proposition happens to be the 2.8-liter 1GD diesel engine, FTV. There's also a further 3-liter 1KD FTV engine. Aside from that, they have a 3-liter 5L engine. I'm sure most people are conversant with the 5L engine. And finally, they have a 3-liter 1KZ engine. The 1KZ and the 1KD diesel engines are what most people are conversant and about, and those are the most common engines in terms of these ones. Now, about the 2-liter 1GD engine, the GD engines replaced the KD engines. The biggest reason why the GD engines were able to replace the KD engines is that Toyota was seeking much more fuel efficient cars, and the good thing that happens with the GD engines, which replaced the KD engines from 2016, is that they are able to cool the engine much more efficiently. Some of the things that they do to the GD engines to make them much more efficient is that the cylinder walls are well insulated to ensure that heat doesn't dissipate to the rest of the engine. Furthermore, they are able to handle exhaust gas evacuation very easily. Considering this, you have to know that the faster the exhaust gases are able to leave the engine, the cooler it is able to be, and the faster the car can go. Considering the car has a flat bonnet, front is most of the things are on the front part. This is the intercooler, not the radiator. The radiator happens to be somewhere between just under the dashboard, but it is fed through the front, and probably the coolant and the washer fluid. Aside from that, they don't have so much in terms of what they contain at the front. So as far as what is at the back, if at all there's anything at the back, is these cars come with nothing at the back. So you have an option of putting seats or leaving it as it is. Maybe you're starting a business of ferrying goods. So this is basically what it has. In terms of gearboxes, the Toyota Hiace, and as most people would call them, the Toyota Box, have 3 different transmissions. This happens to be the 5-speed manual gearbox. And then they have 2 different automatic gearboxes, a four-speed auto and a further 6-speed auto. As far as drivetrain goes, these cars don't have very strange or unique drivetrains. They have two different drivetrains. One is the rear wheel drive, which basically takes all the power to the back wheels, and then you can have a four-wheel drive like this one, which employs a transfer case which brings power to the front tires. And then the thing about the four-wheel drive is that they are four-wheel drive full-time, which happens to be sort of like a downside about the four-wheel drive, because if you think about it, this makes the car to consume much more fuel. One of the biggest reasons why people opt for this Toyota Hiace as opposed to the Nissan NV350 is the drivability. Believe you not, this car happens to be one of the best cars I've driven. Yes, one of the best, considering the drivability. I don't know if it is the fact that you're sitting on top of the engine, or you can get close to other cars, but these cars happen to be a very good driver. This happens to be the automatic model of this car, the 4-speed auto. And if you ask me, they work well enough, depending on your usage of the car. There are other variants, the manual models, which people will consider using if they are more into on and off driving. Probably if you're doing a game drive, this wouldn't be ideal, but because you need to give the car the gear that you want, not as per the rev counter. In terms of the instrument cluster, there isn't so much to see here, because you just have your temperature gauge, the fuel gauge, and then you're set. The rest is probably the odometer, and that one is standard. This car, again, happens to be the 3-liter diesel model, and they come equipped with a turbo. So if you think about it, when you press the accelerator, this car can fly. They pack a lot of power, and it's not a surprise, because if you consider the same engines are being put in the Prados, so, and that's a car that you need power, especially the diesel models. And as I was mentioning, the drivability of this car happens to be surprisingly good. It is easy to handle. The fact that it has a power steering is very easy, considering the size of the car. You don't come across any difficulty in terms of driving this car. And I'm quite surprised, because if you think about, especially in the transport industry, this car happens to carry 14 passengers, 15 if you include the driver. So therefore, this car has to be very powerful to deal with that amount of people. And you're able to do speeds of upwards of 100 kilometers per hour in these cars. I think that's why they are very much loved in the transport industry. As far as living with this car goes, everything is within an arm's length. If you consider the gear is very well placed. I'm not usually a big fan of this, but considering the design of the car, there really wasn't anywhere else you can put the gear. This was the only location where the gear can be located. The AC is very simple and very much within an arm's length. The car happens to have cup holders on this, which are not very practical, because in most cases this particular location happens to be a front seat for the center client, so it can't be used as a cup holder. So with that, considering that, there are other cup holders which are stand in place of this, which happen to be in this location. You just press here, you just pull here, and it reveals the cup locations. You can probably put a drink there, and it will be good enough to be held during your drive. Back to the center seat. So the reason why I wouldn't use these cup holders, remember, they are actual cup holders. You see, they're able to fit a soda or a bottle of water. The reason why you can't use this is because this happens to be the center seat. So you just pull this lever here, or push it down, sorry, and then you pull the chair, and it reveals a center seat for you. That's why the front part is you can see two peoples, and the safety belt clearly denotes that. Now, the most important aspect of the box has to be the price. Now, considering the different variants that I gave you, the petrol models have to are much cheaper than the diesel models, for obvious reasons. The diesel models are much more economical, and then that's good for business. So now, the two petrol models, the 2-liter the 2-liter 1TR FE and the 2TR FE, the 2.7 liter, their price ranges will run from 2 million to 2.5 million thereabout. When you go to the diesel models, their prices now take it up from there, from 2.7 million to 3.5 million shillings. As far as the Toyota box goes, it happens to be one of the most dependable cars that can be on the road, especially if you consider these cars are used for transport, ferrying goods, and probably transporting people from one place to another. This happens to be the best car, and that's why you find most of them being on the roads year after year. In fact, these cars have been known to do 1 million kilometers. Just think about that. That's the lifetime of the car. In fact, after that, you're able to sell that car and probably think about bringing more others. The only thing that you need to change on this car that can be catastrophic is the timing belt. The timing belt has a timing change of every 100,000 kilometers. Aside from that, for the auto models of this particular car, you have to ensure that the automatic fluid is in good condition, the diff fluids are in good condition. Aside from that, the car will serve you best. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you ring the bell icon and subscribe for more notifications about future shows. And until next time, it is peace.